Well, hey folks, Species7 here. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to Farm Sim 19. Now, today I'm here on our Ravenport farm. This is the multiplayer server. Oops, and I see my harvester needs some tending. Yeah, I've reached that unfortunate part where pretty much all my fields require their plowing. So, yeah. And this is the subsoiler I have. At 4 meters, it's pretty much beats any plow in its class as far as using a not huge horsepower tractor. I think there is one 4-meter actual plow that this tractor will pull, but to get any bigger, you need a much bigger tractor. And this one, I think, actually my other tractor even will pull the subsoiler. So. But anyway, I have, alright, we're just going to let you do that for a moment, because I do need to go and empty this fella. Oh, he's not in a great place. There we go. So I went to log on to the server this morning. I'd received 2 emails from Games, the people that supply the multiplayer server here. One said, "We are migrating your account," and the other said, "We have finished migrating your account." Unfortunately, when they finished, they didn't light the server back up, so yeah, I went to log in this morning, so if anybody tried to log in last night, I guess Saturday, yeah, probably didn't have much luck. My apologies. Barely functional here these last couple of days, so if I hadn't had a couple of videos recorded ahead of time, I think we would have run out of content by now. Because unfortunately, I'm at one of those stages where even sitting at the desk is a little beyond me, so that's okay. That's okay. Now, my farm has progressed quite a bit. I finally decided the other night, after taking canola off of the 3 fields that I had going, that, there we go, we'll get rid of the hired worker and get back to doing some work for ourselves. But I wanted to do a little bit of expansion and upgrading. Now, to upgrade my tractors, I basically started with 2 very cheap tractors. And then I would save up enough through selling silage to trade one of them in for a slightly better tractor. And I kept doing that back and forth and back and forth. And then I finally decided, well, as I'm going to have to do a serious upgrade at some point, I would do something I hadn't done yet, and that was sell my crops. Up until this point, for the entire time the server's been running, I have been storing them away up on the hill there in that big facility. And the only thing I've been selling are grass products, whether it be hay or silage or straight up grass. That's where I've been making my money. Now, I decided to switch from cereals done with a seeder to all the crops that are done with a planter. So I'm going to be running things like sunflower and corn and that sort of thing for a while. So what I did was I went to my magic silo over there and said I would like to withdraw all of my funds. And they cried and moaned a little bit, like they will, but they did. And after 2 hours of driving back and forth to various facilities, I made just over $600,000. So yeah, I've been growing pretty much all high-end stuff right from the start. Canola, soybean, you know, doesn't give you a lot, but gives you a bunch of money for what you do get. So, and that's what I've been doing. I had over 100,000 liter of canola, so that didn't hurt. That's over 1,000 per 1,000. So yeah, it worked out rather well, and that was just the canola. I had also, I mean, I sold pretty much everything except for about a trailer's worth of barley. I don't know why I kept it. My theory was, you know, feed the chickens, but the problem is the chickens are still eating the exact same food I gave them when I bought them 2 months ago. So yeah, that's a bit awkward. And I kept about a trailer full of oats. So everything else from day one. Oh, well, plus I did a load of silage as well. But it has allowed me to move up to such wonderful animals as this monster of a Dukes. One of my favorite tractors in the game. I've also put in a silage bunker, a medium silage bunker down at the end of my last field. I managed to buy my other field back, so I now own 3 fields again. And I have put in a silage bunker. I'm trying that again. Unfortunately, it still seems to have issues. I dumped 2 trailers full of grass in it, and when I went to dump the third, it told me that I couldn't do that there. And I noticed that no longer was it grass, but I actually had chaff in the silo. Now, I think that they will do that, but yeah, it wouldn't let me dump anymore. So I've got a covered silo that has all of, 40-something thousand liters in it. So, yeah, it basically looks like somebody just threw a tarp on the ground. It barely makes a lump under it. But I figured, well, as it's absolutely not going to let me put any more down, I'm kind of stuck with that, you know? And indeed, I was. So we're going to have to see how that goes. As it were. I don't know why the textures are so low res inside of this tractor. Now I know I'm not exactly running the highest of resolutions, etc. Well, I mean I'm 1080p, but the other resolution thing that you can adjust, yeah, that makes things look very, very detailed. Yeah, not going there. My poor little potato would just catch on fire and run out of the room. So, but that's coming along. I've almost got all the parts I need to do a rebuild. So it has been a long process. I research every single thing, of course. And then I wait and I wait and I wait to see if I can get a better deal on it and check all the normal sites. And so far, well, I think I'm doing pretty good. I love some of the little conniptions the AI goes through because they really, really don't know what to do about that train at the end of my field. Sometimes they'll actually... It's a good thing they don't damage crops, because I have seen them actually get almost to the end and then back up, like, I kid you not, 100 meters, and then suddenly cut sharp to the side, and basically right in the middle of your crop, do a kind of a, back up from where they've gone all the way to the end of the field again, so that they can start the next row, but they're actually driving up the row they're going to harvest. So yeah, if they did crop destruction, they would have pretty much ruined my fields trying to avoid that train. But when I have this many fields to plow, plus the last harvesting to do, it kind of helps to have a little AI-ism going on. Yeah, this hill is the unfortunate result of my not being very experienced with the whole placeables thing. I do much better now. As you'll see from my silage bunker, it almost looks like it was put there by a map maker. But, unfortunately... Now that was on a bit of a rise to start with, but the fact that it rises so steeply from the field is kind of because, well, my landscaping abilities weren't quite up to snuff. I'm starting to get the hang of it. I've done a lot of playing around with it. I've practiced on a couple of different maps, and it's actually a pretty powerful little tool once you, I won't say I've gotten the hang of it, but I'm certainly better with it. Huh. That looks like that Progression of Man poster there, those half a dozen stalks of sunflower. Oh well, I'm about to wipe out all the way up to the Neanderthal here. Oh boy. Yeah, he's still busy. That's the one thing with sunflower. You go a long way before you fill even that little harvester. And that was another purchase. I actually own my own harvester now. So, well, you can see from the just north of $600,000, I'm currently running just south of $30,000. So yeah, it didn't burn a hole in me pocket for too long. I can tell you that. Not at all. Boy, I so look forward to being able to run this at a better graphics. You know, this is almost FS13 level of detail. Other than the steering wheel is actually round, I'll give it that. Back in FS13, we still had the, you know, they were like 10 or 12-sided. Not exactly round. But that's okay. It has come a long way. How's that guy doing? Oh, look at that. He actually brave enough. He ran right down onto the tracks. He backed. Oh, he's backing down onto them again. It's a really steep hill, too. And one thing you can find happens there with something as large as a combine, if you back up to about the halfway point, even if you slam on the brakes, you will roll all the way back onto the tracks. Yeah. So, I have not been smacked full on by the train down here, but I have been hit a couple of times where it's either spun my equipment or simply nudged me out of the way. But I did get hit up at the port. And I mean bad, like to the point where the train picked up my tractor and trailer. And I mean picked up. It hit it so hard that I slid right up on top of the train, and then it carried me along until it made a corner and threw the tractor and trailer into a fence. So yeah, that was a little less than brilliant. Of course, being parked on a train track while you're gaping around looking for the tip spot probably had a little to do with it, but, you know, hey. Yeah, long process with a 4-meter subsoiler. But unfortunately, like I say, to get any bigger than 4 meters is a huge, huge step up in plows, so far as horsepower required. Now, jeez. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. How are you doing there? You're almost full. Good. I meant to actually just step out. Okay, you need plowing. Alright, good. So the subsoiler is... I assumed it counted as a plow, but, I mean, it says it does. You can't create new fields with it, but it does count as a plow, as far as the field is concerned. So, good stuff. That would have been an awful waste of time. See, because it says cultivator, right? When you go to the controls, see, lift cultivator, lower cultivator, that sort of thing. So, yeah. And I don't need to use a cultivator on this field because, well, I do believe my planter is one of those cultivates as it goes kind of guys. So I have been for the last couple of days, and it's why I'm in such sad shape here today. I was up all night. I was so sore. Oh no, look at that cultivator, man. Look at him. Whoa. I don't know how clearly you guys could see that, but I'm pretty sure he brushed the header along the side of the train. Wow. Alright. I don't think he's paranoid enough now. But, yeah, at any rate, I've mentioned, well, many times the building manager of this place, who, unfortunately, about 5 months ago, had another stroke, and this time it pretty much incapacitated him. Hang on here. Oh, sorry about that. Strange crashing noises from the kitchen are always worth investigating. So, in this case, it's actually related to what I was talking about. Yeah, the building manager, who unfortunately had another rather severe stroke 4 or 5 months ago, and we didn't really think he was going to make it for the longest time. Well, he is doing a little better. No, he's never going to fully recover. And in fact, he's probably in the next week. He's still in hospital. He's been in the hospital all that time. Hopefully sometime this week or next week he's going to be transferred to, what do they call them? Basically one of those homes where they'll look after you. Intensive care homes, or, you know, those sort of things. Yeah. But, he has a pet named Frankenstein. Now, Frankenstein is about 20-year-old red-eared slider, which is a turtle, for those of you that aren't sure. He lives in a bathtub down in a storage room below the apartments here. It's actually better than it sounds. He's got it set up pretty decent for him. Well, he's unfortunately not going to be able to set up any sort of a thing. If you know anything about these sort of guys, once they get a little bit big, they require a lot of area. If you're going aquarium, you're looking at least a 50-gallon tank. So what I've been doing, because I can't keep going up and down those stairs, and eventually the owners of the building are going to want that storeroom, because they're eventually going to hire someone, we hope, to be a manager. So I've been building him a terrarium. And, yeah. And I've been pushing at it really hard, because he's sort of at that point in his home where I need to clean his tank downstairs again. And that's a really, really difficult thing. Like I say, it's an entire bathtub. At one end of it, there's a couple of rocks that weigh probably close to 100 pounds apiece. Oh, I think I need to empty my harvester. And then you've got to flush out the entire tub, and oh, he always stops in the wrong bloody direction. So I decided I wanted to get on with building his new tank as quick as possible. So I've really, really been pushing over the last couple of days. Yesterday I actually put about 12 hours in. Now, I'm building it all out of recycled materials. All the wood, all the stuff I'm using has been used in other construction projects. So that makes it a little more difficult, but it also means I don't have to spend a lot of money on it. When I build things, and I build lots of different things, I have a kind of a thing where I will always use a single fastener type, things like that. You know, if I'm going to use a certain screw, then I will use that on the entire build. So anything I build is usually, is usually very easy to take apart and use. So, as is the case here. Boy, we still got a ways to go. Like I said, I have bought this field back from us next door, but it's, I think it has oats in it or something? I don't know. I have to figure it out. Okay, there we go. Let's hire another worker back up. Ooh, I'm not exactly straight. There we go. They seem to be alright with it. So yeah, I have it pretty much built. I just need to build a lid for it. It has about a 20-gallon water capacity, as well as an area for him to get up out of the water. And are you down or up? You're up. Okay. And yeah, it's just about ready. Unfortunately, because I did push for about 12 hours. Yeah, it's darn near killing me. But hopefully, I'll be able to finish it either later today or tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to be able to move it all today. But, yeah, and then I can move Frankenstein out of his downstairs home and up here into civility. But, yeah, that's what the noise was, where the kitties were up playing with some of my tools and such. I guess they found a screw that didn't find its way back into the box and had knocked it off the table and were having fun doing different things with it. So, yeah, being kitties. Not that I had any desire to start raising a turtle, and as red-eared sliders tend to only live 20 to 25 years in captivity, I'm not really sure how much the poor guy's got left, you know. But the guy's parents asked me if I'd be willing to take him over, as I've been looking after him for the last, well, whenever Mike wasn't available. And it's kind of hard to say no when you realize what these people are going through and all the rest of it. So, yeah, I guess I now have myself a pet turtle. Yay. I used to raise, at one point I had 72 reptiles, and was considered quite an active herpetologist, to the point where the local college actually had me come and give a couple of lectures when they were on that point in their biology course. So, I don't think this is going to get all of it, is it? Oh, well. At least that's one field just about done. But yeah, after doing that for years and years, I finally got out of it at one point, and didn't miss it much. It is a lot of work. Even a single reptile or amphibian can be a lot of work. And, yeah, having 12 separate enclosures full of them was pretty much a half a day to do just them, you know. And I've been bitten by things that have names you couldn't even pronounce, let me tell you. In fact, I was at one point getting so well known as a herpetologist that I one day got a call from a pet store owner over in a mall in Courtenay. Now, Courtenay's on Vancouver Island, which is about 30 miles across the water from us here. We live on a little peninsula that's impossible to get to except by boat or plane. Yeah, that is down right on. And apparently he had a couple of basilisks escape their tank, and they were running loose in the mall, and no one could catch them because they were terrified of them. And I don't blame them. Basilisks are nasty, mean-spirited lizards. Like, they will just as soon bite you as look at you, and they will actively run after you to bite you. But they're the ones that get up on their hind legs. They show pictures of them running across water and stuff. Yeah, they blow their little hood out and then go running across the water. Yeah, that's them. So yeah, he actually paid my trip over on the ferry, and I spent an afternoon going through the mall in heavy gauntlets and a capture bag, and eventually did catch all three of them. But yeah, that was quite the thing. Well, that's one field down. Wow. Lovely. And one more. And then I guess I'll switch up the header on the old combine there and head out. How are we doing here? Good enough. Let's go and steal this before he hits the end of the road, shall we? But yeah, I just thought for something different I would do an episode from the server. So, and to everyone that does come on the server, thanks very much for participating in this. I do hope that you enjoy your time on here. And, well, hope to see you all back on here real soon. In the meantime, though, this has been Species 7 from the Ravenport farm. Well, actually, it's Cathouse Farms, but this is the Ravenport map. Take care of each other, folks. And ciao for now.